Flaherty.
That's so creepy.
Let's do it again. It's weird. I don't like it.
Hey there! I'm Colleen Flaherty.
And I'm Michael Flaherty.
And this is Flahertys on Films. Is that what we're doing?
That was good.
All right.
That was 5 star.
This is the podcast where we talk about movies, even though we don't know anything about movies.
We're going down the AFI Top 100 films, and this week I believe we have number 91 with Sophie's Choice.
Yeah, we are 10% in.
Yes.
We've gotten to the top 10.
We've banked 10.
Woo! Yeah. You can't see it, viewers, but we just high-fived.
Yeah, radio note, we high-fived.
Yeah, it was really cool. Michael, if you want to take it away with an IMDb synopsis from this 1982 film.
Sure. This maybe I'll edit in some like sad music as I read this, but
that's what a violin sounds like.
That was really good.
Yeah.
After spending time with his new neighbors, an aspiring writer realizes they are harboring deep secrets that will forever change him.
That feels like a little that dude-centric. Like, what about... I feel like it should be about Meryl Streep.
Well, Meryl Streep is the best part.
She's the one who has the deep secrets. Kevin Kline's just bonkers. But we'll get into that.
I sort of agree with everything you're saying. Okay.
So, have you seen this film before?
No, I didn't know anything about it besides Sophie's Choice. That's
Right.
a very popular expression. Means you have a difficult choice. But for some reason, I knew that choice specifically was about Nazis and it was about her having to kill one of her kids.
I knew that, and I have to say, I use the expression Sophie's Choice always the most inappropriate way.
But I always knew it was inappropriate.
Right.
Yeah.
It's never something like, this is a serious choice. It's always something like, what am I going to get from Taco Bell? Sophie's Choice!
You guys see that movie? I haven't. Yeah.
I think it's a book as well.
Oh, okay.
Or was first a book. I learned that actually from the Amazon reviews, which we'll get into later.
Yes.
I had seen this film before, but for some reason I only remembered the Holocaust parts.
I'm not surprised
which
by that
are
at all.
like no parts of this film.
Yeah,
like
15%.
90% of it is
Yeah.
just... Anyway, we'll get into it.
Sure.
Initial reactions?
Bad.
A little boring, but I liked it more than I thought I would. So...
Yeah. I didn't expect myself to say bad, could be like, oh, well, it's about the Nazis, and Meryl Streep probably does a good performance. You know, there's probably, even if it's boring, it's like historically significant. But no, it's not about Nazis, really, and it is a bad film. Anyway,
right.
Initial impression's bad.
All right. My initial impression better than I thought.
All right, well.
God, if only we had some context, though. If we just got some, like, really cool information.
How are we gonna do it?
Because, you know, you and I, we do not do our research. We don't feel like it.
I feel like we have a real Sophie's Choice. We could go searching online. We could go to a library.
Or we could just check the time. And hey, Michael,
I think it's BAM!
time for Sam.
This one's gonna be less fun. This movie was nominated for 5 Academy Awards.
Woo!
It won 1.
Yeah!
Meryl Streep, acting.
Yeah,
Okay.
you guys knew it right away. It's Meryl Streep acting.
Yeah. She's been nominated for like 23 or something. I made that up. But it's a lot.
I think she's been nominated for like 59 awards.
I think she's been nominated for 6,000 awards.
I think the Oscars are named after Meryl Streep. Her middle name is Oscar.
Yes, I've heard that. Oh my gosh, I just Googled it. It is a lot. I think I'm not joking that much. Oh my gosh! It's not 6,000.
That's all awards, though, not just Academy Awards.
Yeah. These are Oscars, though. I can't count. There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
So Meryl Streep did win for Best Actress. However, it was also nominated for Best Cinematography, Best Costume Design, Best Original Score, and Best Screenplay Adapted.
It had good music.
Yeah. She's been nominated for 389 awards.
Well,
that's a lot of awards.
She was really good.
She's very good.
Actually, some funny thing about Meryl Streep, I've always heard, man, she's the best actress in the world, but I actually don't think I've seen her in anything where she was particularly amazing.
You've seen Mamma Mia.
And I've seen The Devil Wears Prada, and you know
she was great in that.
I mean, sure, but like, legendary actress. You wouldn't walk away from those movies thinking that.
Have you seen?
She's great. I mean, she does a fine job. But this movie was exceptional.
She was so great.
She was exceptionally great in this movie.
She was so good in Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah,
Are you kidding me?
All right.
Are you kidding me?
All right. All right.
So I think we can all agree that Meryl Streep was amazing in this role.
Yes.
20. She's been nominated for 20 Oscars.
Funny fact is that she was actually not in the original thought process for a choice or a candidate for this position.
Nice, use the word choice.
Thank you.
Was she famous?
She wasn't exceptionally famous, but she got a bootleg copy of the script, and she loved it so much that she literally threw herself at the director's feet and begged him to give her this role.
Wow.
It was.
I bet that does not always work.
Apparently, it was very convincing and did work, so she did get the role.
All right.
That's your fun fact right there.
Okay.
It is based off of a book.
Uh-huh.
The book was actually criticized a lot, and it was banned in South Africa and Poland for it having a non-Jewish Holocaust victim and focusing on them. And then also for the explicit sexuality and profanity.
There's a lot of that.
It was
but
also,
not in a nice way.
It was also censored in the Soviet Union and was actually banned from a lot of schools until students actually rose up and actually took the schools to court.
Oh, I bet they were pretty pissed when they got to see it. They're like, oh, this is actually so boring.
Actually, it was the book.
Oh, okay.
It was filmed in New York City and Yugoslavia for the concentration camp scenes. They had to take a bit of a break because Meryl Streep had to lose a lot of weight for the concentration camp scenes.
Whoa. God, she's such a pro. What a gem.
They did come out with a Sophie's Choice opera.
Sure.
It came out in 2002, and if you think the film was tedious and long, the opera was 4 hours.
Well, they're singing at least.
Yeah, that's fun.
I tried to find a lot of...
Which one will I choose? That's his little sample.
That was really beautiful.
Yeah.
That was like...
You guys haven't heard it because I just edited that into the recording.
Right.
I didn't just sing that live.
I tried to see if there was any actual cases of Nazis making a parent decide one child or the other. There isn't any that I could find. However, the Lebensborn program was a big thing, so they kind of talk about that in the movie a little bit when she tries to get her son into it.
Yeah.
And it resulted in thousands upon thousands of children stolen actually from parents, and most of them were actually out of Poland.
It's not a fun fact.
It's not a fun fact. It was started by Heinrich Himmler, and it was mostly focused
Another 2H?
on unmarried mothers. Yeah.
But that's a real guy.
Yeah, he's like a super famous Nazi.
I didn't say it was fake.
Super famous.
Super famous Nazi.
It's just
Infamous is the word.
There's a lot of double H's.
My last one is that
Harold Hill.
Yes.
And Henry Higgins.
And Henry Higgins, and yeah.
Meryl Streep performed the most famous scene, obviously, of the having to give up one of her children scene. She did it in one take, and they said, let's do another one. She said no, she refused. She's like, I can't do it again. And Oprah had her on her show in the 90s and played that clip, and Meryl was very awkward throughout the playing, and then later said she had never seen it before.
Oh.
It was too painful for her. She was a mother, and she didn't want to. So.
Jeez.
Wow. That's
Yikes.
bummer.
Yeah.
You white Henry Higgins.
Just you white.
I thought I'd bring a little levity. That seemed inappropriate.
Yep, we've balanced it out.
Yeah, okay. So now this is the segment of our show where we see what the people of Amazon think, the Amazon customers, not employees, and we go to the 1-star reviews.
Yes.
So, Michael, take it away. And
sure.
if Michael is shouting a little, that is the all caps. That's important.
Okay. Where does it start? Okay. And I have not read these before. I'm reading them live. Okay. Not my type of movie at all. Slow moving. Beyond slow. Yeah, true. Do not waste 2+ hours of your life on this terrible movie. Unless you like rape culture.
What?
What? Was there even...
I don't know.
Okay. The next review.
This is the full review.
It's a short one. Blah. I agree with that. Okay. Fourth review. Slow. Movie's supposed to be less boring than the book. I mean, might be fair. I've never read the book. I love movies and books about the second world. Second spelled S-E-K-E-N-D. Second. All right, whatever. About the Second World War. But this was just as boring and long as the book. Okay.
There was a consensus there.
Yeah. don't know what I was expecting, but I was disappointed. Maybe I was just too tired when I watched it, so I will watch it again.
But good that he reviewed the first time, so we know.
And 1 star.
Yeah, 1 star.
I will see it another time. 1 star.
Yeah, 1 more review.
This is a great review. Another shorty. Here we go. I agree with this one. Here we go. Sophie chose wrong.
I don't even get it, and it's my favorite.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
But it's so great.
That's really good.
Oh boy. All right. So this plot, oh god, let's get into it.
Yes, let's talk about what's in this movie.
So the movie is like 90% of this whiny ass writer who is best friends, like in an unhealthy way, with this very destructive, abusive couple.
Really bizarre third wheel situation.
Right, and then sometimes there's Holocaust.
Yeah, and the movie, so like the main dude, it's kind of explicitly said he wants to get laid, and I feel like it is explicitly about that. Like that is the plot.
It's like about him in a way that he does not understand anything. Like, I don't.
I mean, just so one of the scenes of the movie Sophie Choice, starring Meryl Streep, is about he meets this girl on the beach.
Yeah.
And then they're fooling around at her place, and then
So gross.
she says, "Oh, I don't want to have sex." And that was like...
That was the scene!
That was like 20 minutes of like, oh, you didn't get laid then. That's...
I wrote a note about this.
Yeah.
It was, he said the words all-consuming horniness, which
Yeah.
was so creepy. Yuck, yuck. And then I said, he's very gross and asexual.
Yeah.
And then he like went into this weird, overly descriptive thing of their weekend alone and how he was... My cup runneth over with sexual energy. And I'm like, gross, 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 gross.
I just couldn't believe it. I said, this is the movie? This is Sophie's Choice.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was so long. And I'm like, what is the point of this scene?
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's a sad virgin. Like, I don't care.
But then that is like the plot. The movie ends with him having sex
like-
with Meryl Streep.
So really, it's about him using someone's really, really tragic personal life
Yes.
for him to get laid. Like,
Yeah.
that's what the movie's about?
That's the plot of... That's the themes of this movie. So it's just so weird.
It's so weird. I don't know. It felt like... I'm going to catch a lot of heat from our many viewers, maybe.
Yeah.
But it felt like the worst kind of... His writer character was like the worst kind of reappropriation of pain. Like...
What do you mean?
You know, like just an entitled white dude who's just like, I'm gonna experience life. And him experiencing life was other people's tragedy. Like Kevin Kline's mental illness and his abusiveness and Meryl Streep's actual horrific tragedy. And he's like, and at the end of the movie, he's like, now I've experienced life. And it's like, fuck you, dude. Like, who do you think you are?
Yeah.
Jesus.
He's not likable.
No.
He's our main character. Meryl Streep is not the main character.
Right, and the writer, and so it's so weird because they spend so many unnecessary scenes on him, but he still doesn't have much of a character. Like,
no, he really doesn't. Oh boy, this movie's bad.
I will say something about the pacing was so slow, and they did these like establishing shots or transition shots that took way too long. A long time ago, you and I watched a Lifetime Christmas movie.
Yeah. Please describe it.
Yeah, and I believe it was a Beauty and the Beast allegory.
Yeah.
And it was very cheaply shot. And remember, they would take like 30 seconds to do these transition or establishing shots.
Where
like
you walk up one flight of stairs and then the other flight of stairs.
Yes. You'd watch him go out to the car slowly,
Yeah.
get into the car, drive off in the
Yeah.
car.
Yeah.
And we're like, are we watching a movie?
And then he's in the next place. We're like, oh, how did he get there so fast?
We didn't see him get there. Like, I felt there were scenes like that, like where we watched him, like there was the scene where he was returning the dishes and he walked up all the flights of stairs with the dishes, checked all the doors with the dishes, put down the dishes, and I'm like, just get to the fucking point.
Yes.
Oh my god.
I had an experience watching this movie, and I wonder if you had the same thing, where maybe this movie should not have been called Sophie's Choice, because I kept expecting that to happen. Like, so when the first flashback happens, I'm like, cool, this is where her kid dies. And then it didn't.
Yeah, it happens so, like, late
It's
in
the twist at the end of the movie.
Right, but everybody knows that's gonna... but maybe not everybody did, I guess. But I just... And it didn't fit. Like, the Holocaust parts did not fit.
No.
I thought...
It was two different movies.
Yeah, and that would have been a good movie. Like, they should have just done that part.
Yes.
Because it was too hours and 40 minutes long. Just take the 40 minutes that were in Poland, because that's interesting.
That was really interesting and really moving.
And Meryl Streep is so fucking good.
And she was the main character, which should have been the case.
Right. That would have made a lot of sense. Yeah, like, what is the central conflict here? Like,
the central is, honestly, if you watch this movie, the central conflict is he wants to get laid.
He's a 23-year-old virgin.
That's actually what this movie is about.
Oh, that bums me out.
Yeah.
I also don't think it aged very well. I do.
No.
So I think what the reviewer about when they were talking about rape culture, maybe it was like it wasn't. I don't feel like. So just to catch our viewers up, so the main guy is this writer who comes to live in this house in Brooklyn, and the couple is Meryl Streep, Sophie, and Kevin Kline,
who is John Hamm. I thought that the whole time. His face, his everything is so John Hamm.
And he's this very cool, charismatic, fun guy who's also very abusive and hits Sophie sometimes. And then turns out later, twist, spoiler alert, that he's schizophrenic.
And on cocaine. I called that. I said, that dude's on coke.
Honestly, I thought he didn't even need to be schizophrenic. He just seemed like a drug addict.
Right.
But anyway, so
Too much development.
I feel like they did excuse his being abusive a lot. And maybe that's what they meant by rape culture.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it didn't bother me that much because it's like that's probably how people would act around it in the 40s. Like, so I didn't.
When was this movie actually set? So it was made in 1982, but when is
He said it was like 1947 or something.
Oh, okay.
So it was after the war, but not that far after the war.
Okay. So the reason why I think this movie is really bad, so most of it is uninteresting because it's about our main character who has a non-conflict.
Sure.
But even the parts that are very interesting, I don't feel like they were. I liked watching them, and like even so, Kevin Kline's character, I thought it's very engaging to watch him because he's such a thing. But I still didn't get it. Like so, the twist, he's a drug addict and he's schizophrenic or whatever. Like, does that influence the story? Like, I don't get. It is interesting.
So, I wonder if it's supposed to be like a character piece, like. Meryl Streep is just so broken and just wants to never be alone again that like these two very broken people have sought each other out to not be alone.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the point.
That's a good point, I guess. Maybe I'm not that smart, so I wish they would have
just
if that was
told us
their intention to make that a little more explicit.
But like, why would they make a movie about their relationship when they have such a heavy other subject? Like, that's not like The Other Thing. That's not like sending one of your children off to be murdered. That is not emotionally consistent.
Totally. That's a common piece of writing advice, right? If you're writing a story about some characters,
right,
and you ask, like, is this the most interesting period of this character's life? And if not, why aren't you writing about that? There is, in this universe, there's a much more interesting story not being told.
I mean, the fact that her father actually was an anti-Semite in Poland, but he got murdered anyway because he was a university professor.
Now I like this movie less. This should have been the movie.
I know, that's so interesting. Like, about her life. Like, she had to write all these anti-Semitic things for her dad, but then she would go to the Jewish ghetto and look at all these people and wonder what... Like, that's so moving. That's so interesting. That was 2 hours into the movie.
I wish we maybe knew more about the book, because maybe the book goes a lot more into that.
No, the book...
Nope, it does not. Research says it does not.
The book, because the book is about this story. It's about, like, the writer is the main character in the book as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's so disappointing. Now I just hate this movie. That should have been the movie.
Okay, but here's why I can't hate this movie.
I hate it.
So, first of all, there are just some scenes that are really good.
Don't you feel like me? Just like, why is this happening?
Yes.
Who cares?
Oh, I feel that. I thought, okay, first of all, I love Kevin Kline so much.
Yeah,
I've literally
really
never seen him in anything where I'm like, I don't like you in this. Even in Bob's Burgers, I'm like, you're so great.
Yep.
My notes are, we first meet Kevin Kline choking a lady. Nice.
Yep.
Then he talks about, and he meets this, so the writer is Southern, which I guess is important because they bring it up all the time.
That's just Kevin Kline's little bit he does with the main character.
And then he's talking about lynching coons, and I'm like, how many movies on the AFI do we have to watch that have racial slurs?
Yes.
Can't we just get by with one?
Yes.
And I just thought...
We need more Toy Stories.
Oh, God. And can we... I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but Meryl Streep... She's one of these actresses, so maybe
we haven't talked about it too much. Yeah,
I feel like you haven't seen a lot of films with her in it, but she is one of these actresses where I've actually seen her in films where I'm like, I'm not always thinking, oh, that's Meryl Streep. And like this was one of them. Like I just thought got so lost in her character sometimes, and I thought her accent was very convincing.
Totally.
Which I probably wouldn't if I were Polish, but I'm not. So
I never suspected her to turn around and be rude to her secretary.
She was so great in that. And they never explained why his name was Stingo.
Oh, right, because that's not a name.
That's not a name.
It's not a
That's
human
the main
name.
character is named Stingo. And,
Yeah.
And then I wrote that it's bad he's an abuser and all, but I find Kevin Kline irresistibly charming.
He's very attractive.
And I wrote this quote. He said to Sophie, "You're a fucking rose."
What was the context of that?
It was how he met her when she was really sick, and then he helped her bloom into a rose. He's like, "You're Rose. You're a fucking rose. You're a fucking rose." And it was so weird.
Yeah. Again, that's this movie. It's like, that is interesting, but like, I didn't get it. Like,
Yeah.
how am I supposed to feel about any of this? So if we want to get right to the choice, I didn't even get, like, how am I supposed to feel about maybe it was ruined for me because I knew that was coming the whole time.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know how I'm supposed to feel. Yeah, so her life was really shitty.
I think it was really, you know why? So it was horrifying and painful, and it was so well acted in that moment. But we didn't even know she had kids until the end. Like, we didn't know about her.
I thought we learned that the midway. So there's 2 flashbacks, right?
But
so I thought we learned in the first flashback that she had 2 kids.
But remember, the first flashback doesn't take place till a long time into the movie. And we didn't learn she had
Right.
kids. We learned she had a husband. We didn't learn she had kids.
Really? Okay.
We learned she had kids in the second flashback, and then the very end was the...
Right, okay.
And I just... Yeah, like, we don't learn... We see her flashbacks. We don't see her as a mother. We don't see her loving her kids. We never see her with her husband. Like, we don't know what her family life was like. So we just randomly see her with 2 young children that we don't know anything about, and then one of them dies. And it's like, it's sad, because children dying is always sad, but...
So it's dramatic the way they sort of roll out that information, because that's very like, whoa, she has kids? Whoa, she had to kill one of them? That's really like, whoa, again, it's ruined for me because I was just like, when's she gonna kill her kid? Come on.
But if she had been talking about her son, or if it was like that's what haunted her, because all she would talk about was her dead dad. I don't know, it's like I saw a really good scene play, right? Like I saw somebody just do a really powerful scene for their class.
Of a movie that we did not see.
Right,
Yeah.
that's what I felt like.
Totally. Because, it was really well done, really well acted, really well, shot. Technically, it was all there, but I don't know how to feel about it.
Right, yeah, I feel that way too. And, also, so let's go back to, the beginning of the film, this writer, who, by the way, all I can think of is he was the smarmy lead guy in Ally McBeal. That's like his other famous role.
He was in 24.
He was in Veep.
Yes, he was.
So it was a very different character from what I know him as. So he becomes best friends with Kevin Kline and Meryl Streep, which is so weird because aside from the abuse thing, because it's like the 40s and maybe people don't care about that, but they are like two all over each other. Like they're a weird couple. Like who would want to hang out with them all the time?
They're hanging out in a hammock together, just like.
Ugh.
And I mean, it's fine. They're happy.
Oh, and the main character. There's this other scene. So there's a scene with the first flashbacks, I think, where Sophie's like talking about her painful past and, how her father and mother and husband were killed all at the same time. And Stingo starts like aggressively petting her face, and he's just like,
I was so uncomfortable.
So uncomfortable. And he keeps saying, trust me, trust me, trust me. And I'm like, it's so weird. And it's like he just wants more of the story. Like he's a writer and he just wants more material. And he's like, stop not talking to me.
Yeah.
It was so bad. There was also this great scene that I just loved where it's clearly Kevin Kline like high off his balls.
Yeah.
And he's conducting to this really loud orchestra. And
in the mirrors?
Yeah,
Right?
and he's like in front of 6 windows and it's reflected, and he's just, what an actor. He's so great.
It was good, yeah.
Why does Stingo live in Brooklyn? Like, what's the whole point? So he's like, I have to go to this fantastical place to write, but all he's doing is writing, and he has no money.
And I don't get the geography, because Brooklyn didn't look like a city at all.
That's actually, some parts of Brooklyn look like that.
Just a suburb?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know why
especially
he had
in the
to live
40s.
there. Yeah.
Right, yeah, why? Like, you're just, and he like always complains about not having money. It's just like, go anywhere else.
Yeah.
You're just in your room writing all the time.
I mean, yeah, if the film would acknowledge that he was a piece of shit, that would have gone a long way.
Oh my god. There was this scene, I think it goes back to your thing where you're like, why can't you just tell me what's going on?
Yeah.
But there's this scene where Kevin Kline goes fucking nuts, and he's yelling at Sophie because he's like, why do you get to live? Why did you survive concentration camp when all my... Oh, by the way, this is important. Kevin Kline is Jewish.
Yeah.
And Meryl Streep is not.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
She was just regular Polish.
Yeah.
But Polish, apparently a lot of Polish people just were
Vanilla
also sent
Polish.
to concentration camps, and he's like just shouting, it's like, 6 million of my people died. Why do you Aryan-faced, bitch, whore, why do you get to live? And I was like, jeez.
Yeah.
Whoa. But I also didn't... He also just went on such a long rant. I wasn't quite sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he was just being a crazy person.
Again, very interesting, very well acted.
Oh. And then after one of her flashbacks, she says, I didn't know how to live anymore, and then Nathan made me live for him. And then Stingo says to her, live for me. And I'm like, do you not fucking get anything? Like, maybe let her have a life.
Yeah.
And then I thought it was really not cool that the brother tells Stingo that, oh, by the way, Kevin Kline he's lying to you about his job, he's lying to you about who he is, and he's schizophrenic and he's on coke. But I promised not to tell Sophie anything. And I'm like, you dick.
That is true. Why not?
Why doesn't she get to know all these things? That's important.
That was not explained.
Ugh.
It was the 50s. It was a different time.
Yeah, I also loved in his little thing where he goes, and we sent him to a bunch of expensive funny farms. that term really undercuts the...
That's cute. That's a cute way to say it.
Is she an alcoholic, by the way? She drinks a lot in the film in a way that makes me think she's supposed to be.
Yeah, I don't... That movie doesn't seem to think it's a problem.
Oh my god. And then, so, like Mikey said, like the end scene is he finally gets to boink Sophie.
That's the end. That's the conclusion of the film.
But he has this little voiceover where he's like, this is my ultimate fantasy girl. And this is right after the scene where we see her give her child away to be killed in the Nazis. And then the next scene is them in a hotel room. He's like, I get to sleep with my ultimate dream girl.
Yeah. Nothing to say about that, really.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that was so weird. And so the ultimate choice was one of these kids will go to the gas chambers right now, and one of these kids will go to the kids' concentration camp. And maybe her kid died there and she doesn't know. Why isn't she looking for her son?
What do you mean?
Her son might be alive. And I don't feel like... And she just...
Oh, in the present day.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't...
Like, she was in a refugee camp in Norway. Why did she just go to Americans? Like, oh, I guess he
She
might be
didn't
alive
hear...
now.
I thought maybe she heard her son had died.
No, she heard that a lot of people were dying at the kids' camp.
Oh.
So, she doesn't know. And, so the actual end, though, is after the boinking scene, she leaves and says, I'm going back to Nathan. It was Kevin Kline. And then they do a suicide pact and they die.
Oh, right. They killed themselves. Sure.
And I don't know how I was supposed to feel about that.
Right. It's all very...
I think, there's a bunch of times she's like, I don't want to be alone. So she... And then there was, I wasn't worried about Nathan dying. I was worried about being alone or him dying first.
I don't know, man. I'm just chucked out of the movie. It's just so...
Yeah.
What does anything mean?
Yeah. And then I wrote, intense pain, mental illness was about your journey, you dumb white boy.
Also, so it bothered me about the choice. So I knew Sophie, so I knew it was about she had to kill one of her kids, but I always wondered, well, why? Why did she have to choose? Why was it her choice?
It just feels like the Nazi guard was being a dick.
Right. It just, because the Nazi just walked up to her and said, hey, one of your kids is going to die and you have to choose.
No, so the scene plays out, the Nazi guy's hitting on her. It's like,
Yeah.
You're real hot, I want to sleep with you. And then he leaves and she's like, but my children are Aryan, I'm not Jewish. And he's like, you're still Polish scum, so I'll just kill one of your kids.
But you have to choose.
But you have to choose. And it's like, it felt like cartoonish villainy.
You did.
Like, it didn't feel real.
It was completely arbitrary.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
Okay, I actually thought, though, all the scenes in Poland or in Auschwitz were just so well done.
Really well done.
There was the scene where Sophie's trying to steal the radio for the resistance, and the Nazi general's daughter catches her and is like, I know you were trying to steal that. And then she, ushers, and she's a concentration camp prisoner, and she's like, now sit down and look at my pictures. And it was humanizing her, and it was just this weirdly beautiful scene.
Yeah, that was really interesting.
And it's like, why isn't this the movie?
Yeah. I can't say anything more than that.
Ugh. You know, though, I know there's a guy we know who, like, really knows a lot about World War II.
I mean, I only know people I'm related to.
Huh. You know who we're related to? Our brother John.
God, yes! Let's do it.
I think it's time for a little segment we like to call...
Bro call! Ding, ding, ding. Hello, brother. We're going to play that.
That's what we're going to do.
That's going to happen.
Oh.
Call brother John.
Is it weird that carnival rides are the same?
Hi, you've reached John Blair.
Whoa. His phone's off.
Well, what's he doing that's so important?
Nothing.
Sorry, I was just like, they were in the carnival scene, or they're at Coney Island, and again,
Yeah.
it's the 40s, and I'm like, I ride the same carnival rides now. Like, maybe they
That's
need an
funny.
upgrade, guys.
All right, let's conclude this.
Yeah, I think so. So, would this go on your personal AFI?
No.
Nah.
F.
F.
It's just a broken movie. So, like, if they cut, like, just some scenes from The Matrix, a great movie, and put that into The Last Picture Show, a bad movie, I wouldn't say, well, it's kind of good because those Matrix scenes are really good. I would say this is just I'm insulted because this is just chopped together. Just make the good movie. So that's how I feel about this movie.
Now I want to see that mashup. I'm going to disagree.
All right, well.
Yeah, it's not on my personal top AFI, but there was just some of it was so good. Like, the acting was so good.
Yeah, we mostly agree because I agree with that.
Okay. So
But
what's
still,
the grade?
F minus.
F.
It's still, yeah, because it should have been that.
I'm going to give it a D+, because someone was that good to me.
Yeah.
That's it. So that's it for Flahertys on Films. But we'd like to thank a few of our sponsors.
Sure. Who are we thinking this week?
So Flahertys on Films is brought to you by Target.
Target. It's like Walmart, but they have a kind of a different color scheme. It's
Yeah,
kind of red
nice.
and white instead of blue and white.
It's really nice.
Walmart's
Walmart's for trash.
Whoa. Okay. What else are we thinking?
I think we're also thinking of Blockbuster Video.
Blockbuster Video.
Wait,
Great.
do they exist anymore?
Yeah, I think like one or two of them exist in the
Google it
South.
right now.
There's like one in existence right now.
Video. Whoa. Yeah, totally still exists.
Blockbuster Video. Hey, they have the best movies and they exist. Go there, get your VHS copy of The Matrix and play it, and you'll have 7 days to rent that, and you'll have a good time watching it.
I think, update, they were bought out by Dish.
Well, I'll edit in Dish every time I say Blockbuster Video.
Good. I think also Flahertys on Films, brought to you by Swad.
People don't. It's an Indian restaurant. It's really good.
Why couldn't we just say that?
I did say it.
Oh, you seem like dismissive. It's just, it's like really good.
It's just.
We had it
really-
earlier tonight, and
Yeah, there's no comedy in that.
just enjoy it.
It's really.
Just go with your family, go by yourself, go with a date. I mean, you can't lose.
You shouldn't go by yourself though. You should pick it up.
I would go by myself.
I mean, wouldn't you just pick it up though? You would get it to go.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Okay, get it to go if you're by yourself. Don't be a loser. I guess Mikey's saying.
And let's wrap it up.
I don't have another one.
No, I mean, call out the end here. Do our little sign
Join
off.
us next week when we discuss
Love it.
Swing Time.
Swing Time. Oh boy.
I think that's right.
Is that a movie?
Maybe.
Let's see here.
Your next film.
Swing Time!
Swing Time. Jesus. All right. And that'll be it for us.
Yeah.
And cut.
Action! Wait, opposite.